3, 2. Oh, who am I kidding? It's already live. How are you guys doing?
You're good.
Hello, Bill.
Hi, Bill.
Pastor Bill.
Means I can't see the belly buttons on it.
Okay, Roxanne, you gotta put your phone down, sweetheart. Well, you're holding it up right in between my face and the camera.
I do what I want.
Yeah, well.
So you can't see anybody but Bill and Avery and me and Katie.
All right. So last week we talked about death before Christ, and we laid some groundwork on death before Christ. And then this week we talked about what Christ was up to between the time of. Am I on the right topic? Yes.
This one was about Sheol.
What Christ was up to from the time of his death on through till he ascended into heaven 40 days later. I guess 43 from his death, right? 40 from his resurrection? Yes. So, anybody have anything they want to say? Questions, comments, concerns?
It was very to the point. I didn't have any questions about it.
Cool. You guys have a good week.
Did you have any points you wanted to share, Bill?
Maybe.
Oh, well, what are
Share your
those?
points with us, Bill.
Let me share my points.
Share your points.
Maybe you'll inspire something that we did not think of.
Maybe
All right.
you'll inspire the lively discussions.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Death is taking everyone captive, right?
Is this a capital D or a little d?
It's a capital D,
Okay.
as in an entity, a person. Death is taking everyone captive and holding them in Sheol. And Sheol is split into two places. Paradise, where people are being comforted and basically living this idyllic lives, just chilling out, hanging out in peace. And then this other place where the unrighteous are burning in a fiery pit. Right? So, why is Jesus dying to ransom people from Sheol? If all the righteous are in a heaven state and all the unrighteous are in a hell state, why would Jesus put an end to that?
Maybe they didn't know. Maybe they didn't know.
Maybe who didn't know what?
That the unrighteous people were unrighteous. Maybe they were in a different spot where those things were okay and they never learned the differences.
Okay.
That's kind of what we were talking about last week.
Not innocent. We just don't ignorant.
Ignorance. Yeah, I think that's what I was going with.
So I think, the point I'm going for is like, Jesus didn't die for the righteous. Jesus didn't die for Abraham and Moses and Joshua.
They were already being
and,
comforted.
Yeah, he didn't die for those people. He didn't do this for the righteous. He died for the unrighteous. To offer a rescue from the fiery pit and from hell. I think in Christianity a lot we have this this concept of well, Jesus died for me because I'm righteous, and he died for the righteous so we could be righteous, and well, no. God died for the unrighteous, and that gave us an avenue to become righteous beyond the moral standards of our cultures in the moral standards of God.
Well, the Sadducees and the Jews were mad when Jesus went out and talked to the Gentiles, but that's who he came to save.
So
Yes,
this was a one-time thing, right? When Christ was resurrected and he went. What was you were talking about? You were talking about he went and preached to the unrighteous in Sheol, or
Yeah,
Well,
he
then-
went and preached the gospel to the
That was just
people
a one-time thing?
it took place during those 40 days, but yeah, that only happened one time in history where
Because then that was already done. That all the unrighteous now knew about Jesus, and he moved forward.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
well, all the unrighteous that lived from the time of Adam to the flood.
Why just until the time of the flood?
Thank you. So, Romans 5:13 says, in
Told you I'm
fact,
a sucker for marketing.
yeah, sin was in the world before the law, but sin is not charged to a person's account when there is no law. From the time of Adam to the time of Noah, there was no law. God had given no law. Even in the garden, he never gave a law. He just said, don't eat this fruit because bad stuff is going to happen. Well, that's not a law. That's me warning you that something bad's going to happen. A law is when you say, if you do this, then I'm going to consequence to you. That's a law. The first law was given in Genesis 9, verses 4 through 6, when Noah and his family got off the ark, and God said, you must not eat meat with lifeblood in it, and I will require a penalty for your lifeblood. I will require it from any animal and from any human. If someone murders a fellow human, I will require that person's life. Whoever sheds human blood, by humans his blood will be shed, for God made humans in his image. That was the first law given. So from that point on, there was law. So sin was credited to people's accounts from that point forward. Before that, they were unjustly put in their categories in Sheol because there was no law. Does that make sense? So I really like.
Everybody went to Sheol.
Huh?
Because everybody went to Sheol except the ones that the angels took and protected.
Well,
Which is what you were saying last week, right?
well, paradise was in Sheol, and the pit was in Sheol, so everybody was going to Sheol.
Yeah.
Righteous or not righteous?
Just two sides.
Yeah, just
Whatever.
two sides of Sheol. I really liked Hosea chapter 13, verse 14. And it says, I will ransom them from the power of Sheol. I will redeem them from death. And then God does his best John Cena impersonation. He says, death, where are your barbs? Sheol, where is your sting? Compassion is hidden from my eyes. God's going, I don't have any compassion for death and Sheol anymore. You've done, I'm not going to say the thing I was about to say. It's a common phrase. You've done messed up. And I've got no compassion in my eyes for you guys anymore. Enough's enough. It's fun reading through Scripture and seeing God going,
Yeah, no, that kind of scares me.
compassion is hidden from my eyes.
How big is that hand?
Big as his face.
I'm just saying that's a really big hand.
It is a big hand. That's funny.
You were really quiet. You were there, and then you were gone, and then you were there again. You just disappeared for a minute.
All right, so there you go. That's all the notes I had.
And scene.
Did you do like this?
No. Except I never saw John Cena do that. So.
He does that all the time. That's his thing.
Can't see me.
Can't see me.
It's like his thing.
When he's wrestling? I guess I've only seen him
When
in
he's talking
movies.
trash.
He's talking trash.
At
He also
wrestling,
does it in
yes.
like his commercials too.
So Triple H did his
Where
water
did the
thing,
name Sheol come from?
and
It's a Hebrew word.
Ric Flair did his for thing.
What?
Oh, Schmale with
No,
the
it's
Rockies
not the word
kicking. That's the
hell.
last one I remember.
What did
Hell would be Abaddon. It's just like
Is Sheol kind of like
kind of like place of shade, like
Okay, so
I need water and lemon.
Closely related to death, but not quite the word death either. It's hard to describe.
Would it be like the whole purgatory kind of thing?
No, purgatory, as we understand it in English, is a different concept, but similar to purgatory. Except there's no real torment in purgatory other than nothingness.
Yeah. That's just like the waiting point, isn't it?
Here and here. Starting here. Okay. Single file line, so get behind me.
Which I have to say,
Oh, I didn't want to.
Okay. And I'll be behind y'all. Okay?
using a sleeping monkey,
So,
should have been a sloth.
what's happening is
You can tell the graphic artist.
the first person,
So last week,
everybody except for the first person is going to have their cup on their head.
shoot, I forgot
Hold
what I was
it
gonna say.
on your head, okay?
We were talking about the people who went
The cup on your head. Now,
and they were there and they were waiting.
and they have to
So is that why the Catholic people pray for dead people?
wait.
Because they think somehow they're going to be sorted out after. Thank you.
Good job.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, so the Catholics assume that everyone goes into purgatory when they die, and that you need the prayers of the living to absolve any sins that you hadn't confessed since your last confession, for you to be able to be released from purgatory.
I always wondered about that too. Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking Brent.
Maybe he wants to get in here. Come on.
What?
Oh, sorry. Neither
Wake
one
up.
of us saw him. Thank you.
I saw him. I just didn't know what he was doing.
Is the first person is going to come up and it's a race, okay?
Brent says either green and light blue or green and light yellow.
Ping pong balls.
Well, why am
okay?
pink?
Hey, not yet. You're going to scoop as
So why
many
would I
ping pong
put
balls as you can get into your cup. And then
how
you're going to put your
bad.
cup on your head. And shake around. You can, no. And then, no, you can turn around and,
I'm still trying to figure out
what's
what the
happening
shield
is
is.
the first people are getting
In Greek, it's Hades.
Is it Hades like the god though?
What?
Isn't Hades like the name of that god though?
And,
That's
hey,
Greek.
stop.
The
And,
He just said Greek.
yeah, Greek.
stop trying to
Yeah, the god who was in charge of the underworld
then put
was
the
named
cup on your
Hades,
head,
but it was also the
turn
place.
around, and jump what's in their cup.
Which doesn't make it confusing
into
at
the
all.
next person's
Yeah.
cup.
And they
I think
also they
that's
call
why I'm
paradise the
confused.
fields of Elysium,
To
but it
fill
was
up the
part
cup
of
at
Hades.
the end. Wait, you have
See, he
to
talked about that
double
last week when you weren't here.
and then you have to get
Is that
it
when you
into
did
this cup.
your thingy thing? And I was
Oh, you were dying coughing. Yeah.
You were dying.
I was back. I felt really bad.
You
I
didn't go to the
really
baby
wanted to
shower.
come.
Yeah.
You died, but and you got better.
I did. I got better.
Uh-huh.
She turned me into a newt.
Toes on the line.
Well, I got better. Yeah, no. I was really sad about that because I was excited the whole time, and then Sunday comes, and I was like, I'm still gonna go, and Brent's like, you really shouldn't. I was like, I really want to. No, you're gonna get people sick. Okay.
Remember, it's race. Put it
I
back
don't say it often, but I agree with Brett on that one.
You can turn around.
Yeah, so before Christ, everybody
Made
went to
Avery
Sheol.
sit in the corner.
The good, the bad, the ugly. Everybody went.
And they were divided between the paradise and the
Don't do it. Hey,
Hades.
Yes, except
go!
you didn't actually leave your body spiritually, just mentally.
Which
Now
makes sense.
start filling up your cup again.
And so when
In a
they,
metaphysical sense, it makes sense.
And
In a
so-
physical sense, it's really confusing.
yeah, in the transcript when it says he went to Sheol and took the
She-hole.
Sheol,
Not she-hole. He did not go into the she-hole. No ma'am. No ma'am. No ma'am. I'm not letting that one slide. Sorry. Continue.
There's no H.
there is an H.
There's an S. It's technically, yeah.
Sheol. Hey, speech impediment, leave me alone. I'm can blame it on that. So in the transcript where it said he went to Sheol,
Sure.
and took the keys from Hades, is it talking about the hell part or the God part?
All of it. There was no God part. It was all. It all
The devil
belonged
part.
to death.
Death?
The
So
person.
it's Hades.
Death.
No.
Sure.
Well,
Yes.
Hey,
The Greek god Hades
is
is
for
death.
them.
That person of death and the Greek god Hades. This would be a good comparison between those two people.
Alright, Joseph, next is your offering.
And the angels are the ones that would make sure the righteous got put into paradise or the fields of Elysium
So it was like a spot
instead
in the middle.
of
Because if it was up
The
to
pit.
death, everyone would be punished.
everyone
because
would be in the pit.
Death is just, kind of a jerk.
Yeah,
Who else needs to go potty?
I'd imagine. Okay, that makes a little more sense.
Get a person.
Right.
Right.
No.
Sarah,
Everybody
stop
went.
asking Avery. She
Avery.
doesn't feel good. We've said it multiple times.
Why are we going to the bathroom so often?
yeah, everybody
always
went when I went in, so
And they went
I
about
think
20
they could
minutes for
probably
that
wait.
too.
Yeah.
Well, go back into class.
And they always go the same time.
Okay.
So-
Zoe really did have to go. So I guess that's why Zoe really did have to go. But everybody went in the thing, so it should be good.
So last week we talked about the sorting. The Bible never tells us exactly how the sorting is determined, but it alludes to the sorting of between
They probably use a
paradise or the pit
Which house will you go?
based off of the morals of the culture you were raised in. So if according to the morals of your people, you were unrighteous, then you would be allowed to go to the pit. And if according to the morals of your people, you were righteous, then you would go to paradise.
Oh, well then what I said earlier doesn't really mean it.
This often happens when new information comes to light that what you thought before needs to be adjusted.
Yeah.
That's my constant state of being. So
Well, earlier
no
I
big
said,
deal.
like,
Yeah,
what
you
if-
said they just didn't know. They didn't
Yeah.
know what they were doing was unrighteous. And I get where you were coming from. That's why I didn't immediately say, no, that's
Well,
not
yeah,
right.
I thought that's what she was picking up on. I thought that's why
No.
you said that, because that kind of went along with what you said last week. Said they didn't know because their culture, it wasn't
Yeah.
wrong.
But if in their culture they're still unrighteous, then they'll still go to hell.
Yeah.
Or the pit.
Don't, not hell.
Pit.
Not hell. Big
Pit.
difference.
Pit.
Pit. Or Tartarus.
I'm not gonna
Well,
remember
that sounds too much like Tardis.
Tartarus is the Greek word for the pit.
Tartarus and Sheol and
I still
The
just
other
think of
name
Doctor
you said
Who
that
when
I
you say
can't
Tardis.
remember.
Sheol.
no,
Elysium.
or something.
Huh?
The actual name of hell, or the other name of hell, or the something.
Hades.
No.
What's up the name? Actual hell.
Abaddon.
Yeah, that one. I can't remember all these names.
Which Abaddon is actually the name of an angel.
Did you say Shabaddon?
Abaddon.
Abaddon.
It's
Yeah,
one
don't
of
name
the-
your baby that.
Abaddon is is
Shabaddon.
known as one of the Grim Reapers, where we get the stereotypical idea of Grim Reapers from. One of
Maybe
the
I'll
angels
name
of
him
death.
Does he know?
You're not the mother of the Grim Reaper.
I could be the mother of the Grim Reaper.
I thought you wanted a girl.
She says the Grim Reaper's not a girl.
We're alive and boys.
My child will be the Grim Reaper.
If yours is the Grim
Those already
Reaper,
exist.
mine's gonna be a werewolf.
That'd be awesome.
What's your name?
Okay.
Back on topic.
Talking about death, not werewolves.
I
Come on.
said Grim
So you're
Reaper.
having a vampire?
T-Rex. If I have a T-Rex, I would be so jealous.
I'm sorry, honey. It wasn't me. I don't think I started this one.
No, it was
I
me.
picked up
it
on
was
it.
all me. I'm sorry,
You know what's
Bill.
really funny is the week that you weren't here, Jonathan yelled at you.
Yep. See, I was here
Yell
for that
is a
week.
strong word.
It was something like, "Will you shut up?" It was that attitude.
Those words too.
You know, it's not always me.
It's the wife of whoever's leading some reason.
For some
Except
reason.
today, it was all me.
so sleepy, guys.
My eyes hurt.
Sinuses.
Everybody else, listen to
Tina, she got sick this week, and she did the whole wake up where your eyeballs wouldn't open, but
Oh,
the
that sucks.
crusties are as soon as
Yeah.
your eyes shut. And she's like, I need a warm rag, and I'm
Right.
like, that's attractive.
You didn't have pink eye though, right?
No.
I've only ever had that issue with pink eye.
I used to have it all the
That's
time
what
with
I thought it
sinuses.
was because like a
It can happen with
bloodshot.
flu,
It
that's
was all, but
It wasn't.
no.
Yeah?
I was sick with something else though. 'Cause
Was that
I
good?
had a fever and everything.
Was that good?
I woke up a couple of times
I
growing
know,
up
I
with
saw
allergies
it.
so bad my face was swollen to where my eyes were shut. And a couple of times where the crusties were, I had to, you know.
I used to have it all the time when I was a kid.
Man,
I haven't
chips
had
taste
it.
so
Pink
bad.
eye?
Frustrating.
Huh?
I hate
Pink eye?
feeling the
No.
allergies.
Allergies.
I've done it
Yeah.
for 7 years.
I haven't had it that bad, but the other day
Arizona.
I had a
I take
I miss
Zyrtec
it.
and
I don't
Claritin
know.
all
the
year
only
long
thing that we
because I have
have that was
allergies in
frozen.
every
We
season.
don't have like ice packs or anything. I had a turkey log on my head because it hurt. It hurt so bad.
Wait, I missed something. Why do you have a turkey log on your head?
So Dev,
I don't have ice packs at home, and my sinuses were hurting like through my forehead and down my nose. So I had a turkey log, and I put it.
What is a turkey log?
A turkey.
It's like the ground beef too.
Yeah, the ground.
Oh, okay.
The ground turkey log.
I'm like, what is a turkey log?
well, we certainly don't call them beef logs.
Yeah.
You got us all thrown for a loop over here.
I couldn't think of what it was. Okay.
Frozen peas in your fridge.
We don't have any of
frozen veggie that
I
you
just took
They
the
don't
turkey.
eat vegetables over there.
That's why you keep them in the
That's
freezer.
why you keep them in the
Yeah,
freezer
yeah.
for times like that.
I had a turkey log in my face.
Vegetables are for boo-boos, not for Adam.
And Brent came in and he was like, "Why do you have a turkey?"
Seriously, if you have peas, they'll like conform to your
Yeah.
whatever you put them on.
I just looked at whatever we had in his freezer, and it was like
In his
ice cream. Yeah,
He has a
it's
separate freezer.
yeah. Well, he uses the refrigerator one, and we use the one that's downstairs. They're two separate freezers.
All right. Death, hell,
And life.
Sheol, Elysium.
Sheol.
Hell is actually not a word used in the Bible until Revelations.
He's
That's where he
writing
keeps
in
his
his
notes.
ear, make him stop.
That's where he keeps his notes. Close to his
Did
brain.
finger doesn't get that
uses
deep.
his keys. Brian sticks his keys in his
I
ear
just-
like
my
he's
finger
trying to
doesn't get
start
that deep.
himself.
I use Q-tips. Whenever my ears itch, I just go frantically. It itches. Do not pull my hair.
You have something in it.
You know, we have a really good microphone
So I didn't say anything.
over there.
What'd you say?
Roxanne's talking about monkey penises.
Started it! Not Robert.
Local pastor goes nuts.
Been a spoon.
He was deacon.
By the way, the concrete, really good for sliding a chair back. I gotta say, I didn't put much effort at all, man. It was way back there. Got it.
All right.
Old man has heart attack trying to get spoon off floor.
Well, you're not old.
Prove it.
He is older than.
I'm a lot older than you, so you're not old.
He's
You
older
said
than
older. That doesn't mean I'm not old.
Tell my husband I want to spoon him. I'm allowed to spoon my husband.
You're allowed to do lots of things.
Lately, I've been thinking.
Don't think.
Did it from a distance.
No, we were flat on our backs.
So, this was a
Good discussion.
lesson.
Valid.
Was it?
Yeah. I learned a bunch of new words.
Yeah.
You made them up, but you still learned them.
Awesome.
I like us.
So does anybody have any questions about death, Sheol, what Jesus was up to during those 40 days? How often does God
40
impersonate
days
John
between
Cena?
his resurrection and his
I want to know what
ascension.
Jesus was up to during those 40 days.
We talked about it.
On the fourth
There you
day.
go.
On the fourth day,
On the fourth day.
specifically.
On
What
the
was the
fourth
activity?
day of resurrection, Jesus gave to me.
Exactly. Tell me. What did he
We're
do?
not allowed to
Five,
listen to
six,
Christmas
six,
music.
six,
It's not Christmas time.
It's not Christmas music. It's Christian music.
It doesn't lay it down day by day.
Wait, how do you spell shield?
S-H-E-O-L. It's right here on
You
this
said
paper.
the 40 days is when he, after he came back to life to when he went back to heaven?
Yep.
What's that?
My
Okay, I remember
phone.
something about that.
I want to know what a she-hole is that she was talking about.
I know what that is.
If you don't know what a sheeple is, you might need to go see it.
Jonathan, I was not talking to you.
I don't remember what I thought I remembered. So.
Oh, okay.
There was something that happened that somebody told me happened after he came back to life, and I don't remember what it is.
He wouldn't let ladies touch him.
I'm gonna let anybody touch it.
He let
Wasn't
the
he like
disciples
pure
touch
white
him.
or something?
Yeah, he told Thomas. to touch it.
Wasn't he like pure white or beaming or something like that?
I don't know about all that, but
And he was like, look, and he was like,
Unless you're in military time.
Nope, even in military time, there's no team
I don't think he did any of that.
he did. He told the guy to look at his hands.
Yeah,
Nah.
but he didn't go.
He did go.
No,
And we
he
don't
was
know
like,
if he made that noise. He might have.
he
He
was
might have been
beaming.
like,
I'm pretty sure he did not.
hey, you
Jazz
don't
hands.
know.
He might have been like, shh, listen to me.
so the leading theory on why the ladies couldn't touch him is because Jesus was here to fulfill the law, and according to the law, once a sacrifice had been sacrificed but not presented to the Lord yet, it could only be touched by the anointed priests, which at that point would have only been the
Men.
apostles.
Okay, but when he came out of the garden, when they went looking for him,
watching a video, but I needed to listen to it too.
had he already been
He
to
had
the depths?
he had already gone and stolen the keys, but that seems
Oh,
to
or
be
he
all
wouldn't
he
have
had
come
done
back.
so
Yeah,
far.
okay.
Why was he here for 40 days?
Apparently, a lot of people died from the time of Adam to Noah.
True.
A lot of people to preach the gospel to.
Well, also people lived longer. How many people
Also, that's how long
It's
it
a very long
takes
time
to
ago.
speak that much speak.
spoke?
Just
Faith?
do the thought process. The earth was destroyed because mankind had so corrupted the earth that God
Oh, you said after
regretted
Noah.
making mankind by the time of the flood.
Mm-hmm.
So there were so many people on the earth that they corrupted every corner of the earth. There's 7.5 billion people on the earth right now, and we're not so corrupted that God's going, man, I need to do something.
And we're not cornered, you said? You
Corrupted?
said there are so many people. Never mind.
Corruption's got to be every
There
corner.
was a lot of people.
Okay. There was. Everywhere. Nothing.
The earth is not flat.
I said China.
Prove it. Prove the earth is. Prove it isn't round.
You can't go to the end and fall off.
Prove it. Wouldn't be able to go to the end and fall off on a flat earth map either.
Not on a map, but in reality you would.
No, not according to the flat earth theory, you couldn't.
I think I'm out of questions. They're going with
Well, then they're just making stuff up.
Yep,
They're
everybody's
all
making
making
up.
stuff up. Everybody makes stuff up.
According to the flat earth map, the North Pole is the center, and what we know as Antarctica is an ice shelf around the outer edge,
So that you don't fall off.
all the way around the edge. You couldn't even get to the edge of the world to fall off because there's a giant ice shelf.
But we all know, if there was, cats would have found a way to push everything off by now.
meow. Meow. Because there are ice cats.
Yeah, the ice cats.
I could take a submarine and go underneath them.
Saber-toothed tigers. They could
Underneath
be
what?
ice cats.
Underneath the ice caps.
Oh, I said cats. The animals.
It's like ice cap? Oh, ice caps. Ice cap. Okay.
Cats.
Okay.
He said cats. I said ice cats because ice.
Ice caps. I got it now.
Ice cream for ice cream.
Me too.
I want frozen yogurt. What toppings?
That delicious.
With tacos.
Oh.
How many
Oh,
seasons
I
of the
thought
Good
you
Place
said
is there?
tacos also.
I don't know.
I heard
Still
toppings.
going?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want a
We
non-dairy
finished what's on
ice cream
Netflix.
sundae.
Okay.
Which is the first 2 seasons.
Wouldn't that be frozen?
No, they have
We
non-dairy
watched
ice
3
cream.
new episodes last night.
Where?
Me and the kids
Well,
that we
then.
recorded on
Ice cream
video.
places.
They make
Yeah,
it with
it's up
coconut
to
milk
the-
or almond milk.
Up to the point where they put her
The
back
coconut
on
ones just
Earth.
taste like coconut no matter what flavor you get.
And there's like one episode of that, and then he goes
The
down.
almonds one are not so bad.
Back way down. Bartender.
Yeah.
A few
Don't get the
minutes, and
coconut
then that's the last episode.
Coconut's
It's
good.
on Netflix.
Only if you like coconut flavor.
And you're gonna spend some
No, I
time in
like
Australia
You like coconut?
Australian cats.
after that.
Not
Oh, because
coconut
of
milk.
what's his name? She,
Coconut, period.
and she shows up at his place.
These
Yeah.
3 are insane.
What do these two have in common?
Okay, I'll put it this
So does
way.
anybody
I
have
love,
any
Daddy?
I love German chocolate
concepts
cake.
they're struggling with, or
That's my
questions, or
favorite.
something that just doesn't make sense, or something you want to say?
Why does Roxanne? Oh, never mind. That doesn't have
About
to
the topic.
I don't think so. I think you at least tried to answer all my questions.
I mean, if Gigi had come, she probably could tell you more about death than I can, because she's obviously got some kind of arrangement going on. But
They become friends at some point.
Every time the Grim Reaper comes, they roll the dice. She's like, "Ha, snake eyes."
every time the Grim Reaper shows up, that she challenges him to a game off, and she wins every time.
No, she arm wrestles. She is strong for an old lady.
I was saying, no, Grandma
I made a
rolls
Bill
the
and
snake
Ted
eyes.
reference, and
I know.
Because
I
that's
thoroughly
like the
enjoyed
luck.
it. No, I got it.
you
and I
got
was
it.
with
Okay,
you.
good.
What?
I made a Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey reference, and
Kind
I watched
I
that
don't know what that
movie
is.
when it first came out, and
Yeah.
that was like 400 years ago.
I have it on DVD at
So
home.
you're
I love it.
450 years old?
Yes.
I have all the Bill and Ted's at home. I have Teen Wolf 1 and Teen Wolf 2 on my home too.
I'll worry about you someday.
I don't.
The other day I was mathing it out how old you were, and I was like, I didn't think my mom was that old.
She's like 50, 30.
I was thinking you were still like 45.
Don't do this.
I like you the best. You're my favorite.
And then I was
That's
like,
the
that
age.
makes Brian
That's
like
the age
60.
I always stick at. That's the age I
Yeah, I
always
married
stick
a
at, but I have to
20-year-old
actually
younger
count
woman.
Or remember.
Yeah, you rocked the
Yeah.
cradle.
Goes by.
I did.
You got lucky.
I did.
I made
got
a reference
lucky.
to the boogeyman in Jack Skellington movie. He
I
always
watched that when
does.
it first
Boogie
came out.
Boogie
too.
Boogie, yeah.
Not Boogeyman.
I only watch a movie one time usually, and then I
My
don't
head
ever know
hurts
what
right
it's
now.
about.
Yellow.
He's the
'cause
Oogie Boogie.
I don't pay me.
Yeah, he's the boogeyman of that movie.
No,
Did they go
he's
by
the Oogie
themselves
Boogie.
this time?
And he rolls the dice and it's
Why are you
snake eyes.
poking me?
So you're driving around way up in somewhere.
But yeah, good job. What's next
Yeah,
one
when I
about?
went to get that thing.
Yeah,
It's hard to
To get
tell.
pictures.
There were a lot of
I'll
people
try
in there.
to actually be here for that one.
we're continuing a theme.
Is it death for 6
Hold on.
weeks?
Wherever it was, I told
Now
you
that
it
we've
was
talked
right
about
up there,
death before Christ
by
and then
Kincaid.
Christ's death,
and then I came
Now we're
down.
talking
I
about
told
death
you, I
after
came down. I
Christ,
went to the feed
going
store
all the way
and I
through
looked for the
to
farm, and I went all those
present.
places that
Eternity.
were right there by
You had a
that.
drop off.
past present day.
Did you have a drop off past the
Shortcut.
Kincaid?
No,
Stuff
I
happened.
went to the chiropractor.
Shortcut.
Oh,
Stuff happens, people die.
chiropractor. That's been-
People who die.
It was up around that same area up there off 170.
Was it like a dream
That's the second time you smacked
when you
me.
die? You just
That's what he talked about last week.
I always wonder that.
What?
She said, "Is it like a dream when you die?"
You just fall asleep and you don't know
As far as we understand.
that you're dead.
Like when you fall asleep on. What?
She want me to turn on the fan?
No.
No, she's
Oh.
just pregnant.
Yeah.
It
The
goes
rest of
between
us are
hot and
normal.
cold.
Yeah, as far as we can tell, it's like
Like, I'm sweating
it's
right
like Christmas morning. You go to sleep, and the next thing you know, in your perspective, you've woken up and it's Christmas morning, and you have this general sense that you've been dreaming, but can't necessarily remember what was going on.
So was the dream your life?
Only if God is a sick, cruel toddler.
I always think about that though because my coworkers, they'll be like, "What if you're just a figment in somebody else's imagination?
Yeah,
and
somebody
that
else's
person
dream."
is asleep and blah blah blah." I'm like,
When
I've
they
heard
say
it
dream
before
girl.
multiple times. I'm like, it's an interesting concept.
Now there's the thought that we're all part of a computer simulation as well.
Which a lot of times.
They made me better.
It's like The Sims.
No, it's called The Matrix.
No.
We're all in that game, The Sims, and they can control us. And whenever we walk into a room and don't remember why, it's because they click the X on our command.
Is that why the swimming pool thing keeps leaving?
So now all of a sudden everybody's going. So
You could theoretically reimagine the universe as a technology that God created that's just too advanced for us to understand.
And at some point he's going to hit end of the simulation.
And then we're all just going to pop out.
Matrix style. With new bodies. And we were plugged into these ones. Just saying. It's not too far off.
Black Mirror.
Oh, I love Black Mirror.
You're Black Mirror.
I started Roxanne watching Black Mirror, but
It's so good.
I don't think she's digging
We
it.
didn't finish it. We're in season 3 right now still.
I watched that first one and it made me sad.
There's some slow and it's
The first season's slow, but you gotta start with the first season.
But there are some that are just great, and there are some you just sit there and you finish, and the episode's over, and you're just looking at
The one with the pig?
no.
No. Like
I skipped that
Some
one
of the
when I was
computer
taking
ones.
her in. I was like, we're not even gonna watch the big one.
I
Playtest.
was the only one that I was like, do they show that?
Playtest was F.
Playtest messes with my head.
Playtest is the one that Playtest is the reason I started watching the show because it was talked about in all the gaming magazines. And so I was like, what is this Black Mirror everyone's talking about? Well, I can't start on season 2 episode whatever. We'll start at 1. Playtest is the one where they're testing the video game.
The last one I watched was the cookie and the little egg looking thing.
So what is Bandersnatch?
That is an interactive one. I haven't watched that one.
Because
But
I
it's
thought
the
that was the
newest
one that
episode.
everybody was talking about,
It's the newer episode.
but then I saw the other one.
Bandersnatch.
And
It's
then I
supposed to be like
started,
an
I was
interactive-
gonna watch one and it was season 4, episode 1. I was like, wait, what?
But as the seasons go, some of the episodes are actually connected.
Oh.
Well, they're all connected.
Yeah.
They're all connected.
Well, they're all connected.
Like we
Is
were
it all
watching.
technology?
Yeah.
It's
It's
all,
like it's very
yeah, it's all
technological.
technology themed.
Kind
We were
of.
watching the one where it's like post-apocalyptic and they're riding the bikes
Yeah.
and they're all trying to get on the shows. And then we went to watch the next one, and it was a completely different scenario where they had these iDrives and they were, you could go through and block somebody and
Yeah.
blah blah blah. And at one point, the character's sitting there and he's watching TV, and it's an interview from one of the characters from the previous episode that had won the contest and gotten out of the bike thing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
how is it two reality?
So are they
mix?
different? Are they different people every time? But then occasionally something crosses
It's
over?
anthology, yeah.
Yeah.
But the cookie one, there's like 7 episodes where they involve cookies.
And then you get to the Black Museum at the very end.
Yeah, and the Black Museum, and then it was like this guy is from this episode way over here.
Except the doll in the Black Museum, where if you take its picture without permission, that's a real thing. That's not a Black Mirror thing. That's an actual doll in an actual museum where people have taken its picture without permission and then died in car crashes or plane crashes or just horrible things have happened to them.
I don't remember all the artifacts, but I remember the guy that was sitting there. It was really cool.
That was a messed up episode. I gotta say.
It was.
That was one of those episodes you get to the end and you're going,
Dang.
Wow.
I thought it was cute with the whole mom thing.
oh yeah.
Well, the first one with the cookies was just sad.
Was that the one with the 5 years guy? Where he sped up the time and it was like Christmas? That was, yeah, the little brain
One guy.
Oh yeah. Make the
Make cookies.
And that was the last one we watched. Was the cookies one.
You keep doing this.
Oh,
They
it's
take
a,
it
it's
out
a
of their
thing.
brain.
Yeah, it's a thing.
They
in their
implant
head.
a recording device in their brain to record their thought processes for a while, and then it makes an imprint of their person with all
Oh,
their
so
memories
it's
on it.
cookies like in a
Yeah,
computer.
and they call it a cookie. They take it out and they
White bear.
interact with it. And
also
It thinks it's a real person.
it thinks it's a real person. It thinks
It's
it's
like
you.
a consciousness. The white bear episode was really good too.
So what?
The white bear one with
I've watched 2 episodes. I
It was
think.
the lady that killed a child, and it was like
Don't talk about it too much. People
Yeah.
I
don't
haven't
have
seen
it.
it yet.
I'm trying to not ruin it. It was really interesting.
Which is called the White Bear.
The white bear episode. Well, that's what I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. It was an organization.
I really want to watch this show now.
It's really good.
There's clubs on there.
Make it pretty sure I've only seen one episode.
If you can get past the pig episode.
Is that the first episode?
Yes.
That's like, no, it's the third one.
worst.
It's
Because
the
Bill's
third
like, we're
one.
not going to watch
Yeah.
that
Pig
one.
was the first one, I thought.
No, I just watched the first one, and it was the one where they were in the '60s Star Trek like
Yeah, Bill
show.
told me to fix
The
this.
third one was the pig one because that's the one people we know were talking about. I was like, okay, we're just gonna skip that one.
Well, Bill told me to skip the first episode and then.
Well, it also depends. If you bring it up on Netflix and look at the menu, it is not in order.
It is on mine because it said season 1, episode 1, season 1, episode 2.
It's like in reverse order sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it started on season 4, but I
Yeah.
went back and went to season
But even
1.
if you bring it up, it's not in.
The
like
pig
it's-
was the first episode.
If
for
you
me.
start it,
Yeah.
it actually will play like this, as opposed to most Netflix playing like this. It plays backwards for some reason.
Because it likes to play with the head.
Well, I went to the one that said S1E1, so
Okay.
whatever that
They've
was.
got that one called Bandersnatch that I haven't
I
been
haven't
able
done
to
it yet.
watch because I
That's
tried
the
to do it on my
newest-
phone and they were like, your phone does not advanced enough technology to watch this.
It's supposed
Please
to
pull
be-
this up on a TV. And I was like,
It's supposed to be like an interactive.
yeah, it's a choose your own adventure
I'm going to assume
video.
it's like the Puss in Boots interactive
Yeah.
show for kids on Netflix.
I have no idea.
Stuff goes on, and then you have to make a decision. Do you want the characters to go this direction or this direction?
It was so
Sounds
funny
fun.
because someone was like, "I've binged all of Black
then you're
Mirror."
gonna kill
And
somebody,
now,
right?
Now the first episode is, do you want cornflakes or Cocoa Puffs? And I'm sitting there thinking, how is that even going to affect everything? I know how fucked this show is. What am I going to do? And I turned it off.
First question, they're like, I can't handle it.
They're like,
can't
"This is
handle
too
it.
stressful. I don't know what it's going to affect, and I'm out."
There are a few episodes that I really didn't like.
Oh, yeah, some of them are messed up.
Yeah,
I don't
like
know
the one
if-
with the kid. When he has to like drive around. Yeah, that one.
I don't know if my friend posted this or they found this online, but they were watching the Bandersnatch one, and it said, without hesitation, the mother, my daughter chose kill off the dad. I was like,
Oh my.
I really want to watch this episode now. We haven't watched it. I kind of forgot about it.
So any other on-topic remarks?
On which topic?
Are we still live? We're still live.
We are still
Yeah.
live.
Podcast topic.
Wow, she's even walking pregnant.
Yeah.
I love you, honey.
I told her she's not even pregnant. She's already low.
She told me yesterday she was.
She looks like she's in pain. I feel sorry, very bad for her.
She looks like she's very, very pregnant.
It's time for that baby to come out. Get out!
Come
Go
out!
pop it out, Roxanne.
Don't
Do that right here.
Go to your hospital and then pop it out.
I remember when Tina was pregnant with Sarah, we were doing like let's go walk the mall 4 times.
Oh, well,
Walking that much hurts.
why?
After getting to the doctor, thinking I was in labor for like the
Braxton
3rd
Hicks,
time, and they were like, "Go walk around. We'll probably see you in a couple hours because you're like real close." No, it was like a week.
Terrible.
Sit on a yoga ball. Bounce on a yoga ball.
Okay, please don't do that. That looks weird.
Bouncing.
Don't touch me. Oh, okay.
Oh, I got it the first time. Normally I got it the first time. No, it's curled.
I have one hair that grows on my forehead.
Yeah,
It
like
grows
right in
straight
the
out.
middle,
And it
goes
grows like
straight out.
overnight. It's long. Like it
Mine
won't be
does
there.
that on this mole right here. It won't be there, and the next day it's the same.
You see, it's not a mole though. I have nothing
Yeah.
on. It's right here, and it just goes whoop, and then you're like
It does what?
whoop, whoop, and then Tina goes.
Also,
Ow, I
when
don't-
I cough, it like hurts right here, all around. And I'm not as pretty as she is.
You're not as
Oh, just wait.
I said pregnant as you are.
Oh, okay. I thought you said
Whenever
big,
I-
and I was like, you're gonna be.
Whenever I cough, it hurts like my back around to my ribs.
Me too.
Oh, I gotta get a picture of y'all before she has the baby. I gotta get that picture of y'all in the light down there somewhere.
So.
I'm only 37 years pregnant. One day. I'm hoping, you know, at 40
Your
years,
baby's gonna
it'll
be
finally
like-
come out.
Your baby's gonna come out. He's
Maybe
gonna
you
pull
need
the
Dr.
shirt.
Pimple Popper.
You sure you don't have I'm down 46 pounds. I don't know what's going on.
Apparently, pastels are not a color. Did you know that?
Oh,
Pastel is a
No?
hue.
Yeah.
I mean, it did.
Because I was telling,
there,
I
but
was
wasn't
talking to Brent about the
doing
colors,
consistent
and I
enough.
said, do green
as of
and
today,
yellow
I'm down
because it's
46
complementary.
pounds.
And he's like, no, technically red is complementary. And I said,
Green
oh,
and red, yeah.
yeah. I said, well, we could do like pastels, and he said, pastel is not a color; it's a medium, like chalk or crayons. And I was
Well,
like,
it's that too, but it's also a hue of colors, real light colors.
he says it's just another art form. I was like, this is what happens when you marry an artist.
Oh, I saw that. Wasn't that a post on Facebook or something?
What?
What she just said about the pastels. This is what happens when you marry an artist.
I don't know.
I hadn't seen that.
And we're going to
I'm
you
take
showed
time
me
off
not on
our
something.
income
Facebook.
tax this time, too.
I have no idea.
I tagged you in something
Never
the
talked
other day.
about
What was it?
I think the last thing you tagged me in was some guy coloring his
Never
hair.
typed up our income tax. Have we really?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
guy
we're
with
definitely
dark
gonna this
hair.
time.
That's the last
Did you
thing.
see
I
his hair?
It
That
was
boy had a
beautiful.
head of hair.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, and I've got a
Except
new
I
bat
pay
to
a
put on there.
negative
Anyways,
47% tax
I think
rate.
that was
So
the last
No,
thing.
I just
Wouldn't
tagged you
they
in
apply
something
to
a couple of days ago.
I don't know. My phone, it's really hard for me to get on Facebook sometimes because it'll come up and it'll show like all this stuff, and then I refresh it to do something else, and it like all disappears.
What is that baby?
When you actually come.
I don't know.
So if you actually come, you don't have to talk on the podcast.
Oh,
I want
That's
people
sad.
to see that and know what to expect. When they,
But sometimes like I'll go to the front and I'll like do my notifications or whatever, and then I'll go back to the home page and everything disappears and it says
You wanted to earlier.
I can't ever get on Facebook.
I hit.
You might want to protect yourself from her, not me.
I love you right now. I love you right now. Oh gee, right now, yeah. I saw it.
And that's what it does to me.
I need you.
It does it
Oh, now I see.
on my phone and on the computer. And so I'm just like, I never
It'll
get
do
on
that on the
Facebook.
computer too.
your mother watches this?
Your mother watches this.
That's nice.
I actually wouldn't be surprised if my
I think it's
mother
pretty.
didn't stealthily watch this.
My mother watches it.
No, she doesn't.
Your mother's in
Watches
it.
it happen. Hey, your mother created it. So only like 2/4 of it.
2/4.
People, yeah, drives.
She created golf
And
then
they
she
blocked him
created
from
four.
everybody
Yeah.
because he had violated whatever.
She
So he
created
walks
most
out
of those
and
in there.
everybody's just a blur and he's a red blur. I was like, I would rather die.
Yeah, he's
That's not a
also.
life worth living.
Did you see at the end,
And
like
you
somebody had
count
picked
as
up a
mine.
rock
He counts
as
as
was
mine.
And it was a snow blower.
Yeah, the snow blue as he was passing, I was like, ooh.
And I was like, oh, he's about to die.
He gonna die.
If you hit somebody in the head with a snow blower,
They gonna die.
It will hurt.
well, that's how the one guy
Depending
killed
on
the
how
old
big
man.
it is, but still.
Or was sent the kid out?
I didn't send him the kid out, but yeah, the kid went out.
Yeah.
I'm glad the song isn't one of those 10-hour repeating YouTube videos.
I know, but
Are we?
Yeah.
I mean, we're still alive.
I would hope so.
But you can keep worshiping.
At least I think we are.
Alive? Yes, I'm breathing.
No, alive.
The timer is going.
I don't think this is a dream of my death.
In somebody else's
This would be a
imagination.
boring death. No wait, I don't want that. Never mind.
I mean, you're with family.
I don't want it.
I mean, I'm looking forward to rest, you know, like die and rest and rest and rest and.
I don't think this would be considered rest though, because your mind is. Well, I mean, it's a very convoluted subject.
And when you sleep at night, your brain works out the issues of the day. So when you die, your brain will work out the issues of your life, right?
When you
So
die,
that when you're
your brain
resurrected,
ceases to
you've
work.
dealt with your. How do you know? Well, Is your brain what's driving your body, or is your brain the organ that's responding to the driving of your body?
Yes.
Oh, my brain.
There was the little boy who had an injury playing baseball, got hit in the head, and when they went to work on him, they found he had no brain matter. He had the liquid that brains are encased in, but there was no brain matter. But the synapses were firing within the liquid as if the brain was there, even though he had no brain matter. Perfectly healthy, normal kid, recovered from the injury, lived the rest of his life. He's got no brain matter.
So there's no actual brain.
No actual brain in his head. But the synapses are firing. You do a CT scan and it shows the hot spots and everything, like the brain's there, but there was no physical brain matter in his head.
That's insane.
Do you think he could hear it swishing?
Oh, Katie.
That note.
I'm just wondering. Sometimes what?
I wonder.
Sometimes
Just
what?
sometimes.
I mean, is that not a valid question though?
Do you wonder what the things I think about?
No.
Maybe it's
No, I try not to think about the things you think about.
They can be really dark sometimes.
It's more like Jello.
Would you like to hear more thoughts? There's plenty in there. They go crazy.
So just like you, when you physically fall asleep and you look like you're dead until somebody checks to see if you're breathing, what if that's the same thing when your spirit falls asleep because you're dead and your brain looks like it's dead? Is it just because we don't know what to look for that we think the brain doesn't have any signals? Or is it literally not?
I thought you were going to hit that her.
I did too. That's something I'll think about. I'm gonna try to sleep tonight.
Guys, no. You guys are way too rowdy.
Death is a little sleep and sleep is a little death. That's scriptural right there.
Chasing each other around the table.
Oh, it looked like one of them was landed on top.
Yeah, so tonight's episode, the episode that came out at 7 is called Life After Death. And that scripture, even though it doesn't say it there, is, yeah, that's 2 Peter, I don't know, 2-3, I think.
A half inch off the 6 foot.
For some reason, our graphic designer didn't actually put it on the art, what the scripture reference is there. It's hot in here.
I'm
But
cold
it was cold
Yeah,
like
it's
30
not.
seconds ago.
And he was like, do you want the fan on? No. No, we don't want the fan on.
What time is it?
When are y'all moving?
7:27.
Who's moving?
Company.
Oh,
the company move. When y'all moving? Who?
That'll be easier on us. I'm just kidding.
depending on who they put there.
It's not like we can hear y'all anyways.
Yeah, but it could be something. I mean, knowing them, it's just. And we're going. The place we're moving is under the same exact management company because they've done so well taking care of us in this place.
Yeah.
They did until we showed up.
Well, this is actually a new place.
I'm cute.
The person that moved was there when you moved in.
The
The person, yeah.
The person.
I think they got bought out by somebody else already. That building's changed management like 4 times since I've been there.
We have like what?
Yeah.
We should buy it. Got some loose change in there.
Make some
I know where our
worthy
rent is.
investments. Are you playing on Snapchat?
So they're tonight. They use cups and hold on cups and put ping pong sauce in cups. So they used to serve them cups like it.
Okay.
And then they also had cup they would drink out of. And then the different part of their lesson was they had to make lemonade.
Uh-huh.
And so they needed a third set of cups.
Okay.
Except all the man said those cups are expensive.
There you go.
Y'all
Pink.
need to not be doing that.
Oh.
If Becky or an adult had asked, it's probably fine. So. In the future, if there's not going to be an adult in there, they can't use a lot of them.
Okay, so that was fun. Listen to the podcast that's out right now, and there's the website where you can go listen to it right there, and then come visit us next Sunday at 5:30 at El Chico. Hang out with us, talk with us, converse, fellowship, and have a good week.